Insolence. On the desolate playground of the Valharian schoolhouse, where dust and dreams went to die, Eldrick found himself confronted by a boy, slightly larger than himself. He stood there, his hands skillfully juggling a stone, his intentions dark and unyielding. A throng of onlookers gathered around them, weaving a web of inescapable fate. "So, whore son," the boy uttered, his visage twisted in a sinister grin. "Midar says you're a bastard, and that your existence sullies the name of our great king," he continued, pulling his chapped lips into a pucker. Eldrick trembled, knowing that a duel was not meant for this day, and most certainly not one against this boy. A shrill whistle pierced the air, signalling the boy's minions into action. They lunged, pinning Eldrick mercilessly to the ground. The boy sauntered forth, his foot stirring a malicious cloud of dirt into Eldrick's face. The grit invaded his eyes and choked his breath. "You and your whore mother don't belong here," the boy taunted, as the rock found a cruel home in Eldrick's skull. The minions joined the fray, their blows and kicks painting the earth with crimson. A pedagogue's cry scattered the rabble, but the boy and his cohorts remained. Their spiteful laughter and saliva rained down upon Eldrick, who lay crumpled on the cold, unforgiving earth. The pedagogue commanded the boys to withdraw, but their loathsome presence persisted. From the battered form in the dirt, an uncanny chuckle echoed. "Insolent malcontents," Eldrick hissed, his voice eerily dripping with defiance. Before the boy could retaliate, a sudden tempest swept across the playground, swallowing it whole. Dust and detritus swirled in a maelstrom of vengeance, ensnaring the boy and his minions in its voracious embrace. As the storm abated, Eldrick rose, battered but unbowed. Before him, strewn about like forgotten memories, lay the bloodied garments of the three who had sought to destroy him. A young king, unable to father an heir with his queen, sought out sorcerers with ancient remedies to aid them. Their attempts, futile, caused the young couple's relationship to sour. The king, however, found solace in the embrace of his queen's handmaiden, who was soon with child. The queen, out of jealousy and scorn, branded her a witch and had her burned at the stake. However, before the flames could consume her, she uttered a terrible curse, that the seed of the king would sprout to consume with a hunger everlasting, her words turning to prophecy. A year passed, and the king again found himself in the company of a young peasant woman, fathering a son. Fearing retribution from his queen, he sent the woman and child away to a village at the foot of Valhar. Upon discovering her husband's betrayal, the queen poisoned him and set his guard on the trail of the woman and child, under the guise of the king's orders. Her instructions were terrible: decimate the village and kill every woman and child. With unquestioning loyalty to their king, the guard set out on their mission, reaching the village as the full moon peered from behind a thick veil of clouds. "Hush now, child. Do not whimper. Do not breathe a sound." The mother heeded her boy as she closed the lid of the wicker basket and disappeared from his sight. The commotion outside was something horrid and then dead quiet. The door creaked open, and heavy footsteps entered. "Search and burn everything!" a man yelled, and the night erupted in a cacophony of horror. The footsteps slowly closed in on where the boy was hidden. Through the thick strands of wicker, the boy glimpsed the shape of a towering, heavy-set man in glistening armor. A woman shrieked in the distance as the laughter of men echoed around the small village. The man made ready to leave when he noticed the basket stirring. "Found it!" he roared, kicking the basket over. The boy darted for the door but was halted by the cold of polished steel in his side. Slowly pulling his sword from the boy, the man lifted him by the hair and tossed him outside, next to the headless body of his mother. Several men closed in around him, hissing and spitting, while the boy feebly tried to prop himself up against the dead woman. "This here, men, is what a demon looks like, evil parading in the form of a child," the man proclaimed, his gaze fixed on the boy. "Look, it took half my sword and it's still wriggling, hopelessly clutching its dead mother." "Take its head," someone yelled, pushing himself to the fore. "Take its head and make haste. I want to present it to the king myself come morn." The man obliged, raising the boy by the hair. "I will cut you slow, monster, and leave your remains to be gobbled up by ghouls." "Just like your hag mother," he taunted, tracing the knife menacingly against the boy's neck. An awful smile played across the boy's lips, and in an instant the man cut, and the boy's limp body thudded to the ground. Everyone stepped back, swords and shields ready. "Take its head, you idiot!" another yelled. Nervously, the man dropped to one knee. He pulled the boy's head back and began to cut. An agonizing silence rang in his ears. He slowly raised his trembling, bloodied hands to his ears, trying to stem the discordant ringing that threatened to shatter his mind. Then he found himself alone, kneeling over the corpses of the woman and child. Around him, his men lay dead, slaughtered, cut from neck to navel. Their entrails painted a macabre scene. "You killed them all!" the boy squealed as his lifeless body contorted and reanimated. His pale flesh, complemented by the moon's glow, writhed as if possessed by an otherworldly power. He went to sit before the man, pulling a bone-chilling grin to his face. "Now I will gobble you up," he gargled monstrously through the slit in his throat. Beating hooves arrived with the dawn, and the smell of death greeted the hooded wanderer. The faint sobbing of a child brought him to a naked boy kneeling over the corpse of a woman. He knelt quietly, covering the boy with his hood. Sprawled out around them lay the remains of men in heavy armor, a king's guard. "This place isn't safe for a child," he surmised, taking the boy by the hand and leading him to his horse. "I'll find you someplace safe to stay," the wanderer rasped, as his mare began to bob and neigh in protest. "Hold tight," he cautioned the boy, carefully seating him on the mare's back. With a flourish, he drew a sign that instantly calmed the beast.